Hello and welcome to a new video. We are yet again back at my bookshelf. I brought you here today because I can't do it anymore. I'm no longer capable of living like this. Recently, I just watched a Jack Edwards video where he did a massive purge and unhaul of his books. It's like cloudy today, so the lighting is gonna be kind of shifting. Just ignore it with me, okay? Watching him purge his collection inspired me. There are so many books in my collection. I can't tell you how many. I live in a very small space. See, look, there's the sun. This is all the room that I'm allowing myself to have in my RV because I live in an RV and I travel full time. So this is more than enough space for me. It should be. I need to go through my collection. We have things that we need to do. I'm not going to be dropping these books off to little libraries in this video, but I am going to be dropping them off in another video. Make sure you subscribe so that you can see that video. We're going to do something a little funky fresh though, this version of our purge. I'm going to be putting every book on the chopping block. Nothing is safe is kind of the mentality I want to have, except for this book because it's a special edition with sprayed edges. Oh my god, I'm already making excuses. This is gonna be bad. I just have too many books and I just reorganized my bookshelf. You can go back. I literally just did it like a month ago. The problem is I can't stop buying books and that puts us in this predicament. Then there's like really cute decorative things like this little tiny library that I put together. Kayla, my friend, gave this to me for Christmas and I put it together with my husband. It just sits there and it doesn't look cute. Like it's supposed to be like in the bookshelf like that. You know what I mean? I would love to be able to do that. That is a goal for this video. Then there's things like this really cute picture of me and my husband. My cute little TBR jar. I had a lot of fun making this. I have cool like little printout maps and stuff that I was gifted. First things first is we need to purge. Like I said, every book is on the chopping block and the books that I have been on the fence about for a while now, I'm going to read the first page and see if I am willing to commit to actually reading that book. And if I am not, no matter how much it's been recommended to me, no matter how long it's been on my bookshelf, it's gotta go. I'm gonna include my classics. I have a lot of classic books. Do I read classic literature? No. Not nearly enough to have it take up that much space in my collection. If you see dog hair on me, that's why. Are you okay? Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start with the purge. I'm gonna just start taking down some books and we're gonna talk through them. I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible. If you want more information on the books, just I guess look them up on Goodreads. Thank you for covering me in hair. Genuinely, I didn't think this video was gonna be that long. I think it's because I underestimated exactly how many books I have in my collection. So just go ahead, take a brief pause. Go grab a snack, go grab a drink, maybe get started on a chore. It's up to you really. Buckle up, baby. I'm actually so nervous to go through each and every one of these books because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get rid of like half. I feel ready to get rid of stuff. We're starting it off strong. The Secretary's Secret. That's a pregnant woman. I got this at a little library because Trevor and I had frequented this little library and I saw it and I giggled. I'm pretty sure they have an affair. It was already like this when I got it. The print is massive. I think I'm gonna go ahead and read the first paragraph of this book and we will see if it's worth keeping. No. What does that even mean? I'm just gonna flip to like the middle and see. Okay, that's just literally spice. I tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and donate this one because I got it as a joke. I was like, Trevor, I'll read it and it'll be just like a funny, silly, goofy time. The writing is horrendous. No. Right after that, we've got Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear. I won't lie to you, I was feeling a little pretentious when I bought this book. It was, I'm pretty sure, like $2 at a used bookstore. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I don't even know if I still have it. I might have gotten rid of it. I think it was the 12th night. I tried to read it right over, through the ears. Didn't understand anything. I am going to donate this. Taylor, you're never gonna read this. Donating. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. I'm keeping this. That's an easy decision to make. I should honestly read it this month. February's almost over because it's Black History Month. Somebody took the time to annotate it. Like, there's different colored pens even in here. This is definitely on my list of like, I want to read this one really soon. A Room of One's Own. I found this at a little library. I read a couple pages. I won't lie to you, I didn't really retain anything I read, but I know a lot of people, especially women, really love this. So these are 2 essays that Virginia Woolf had read to the women students of Cambridge in 1928. That is what these are. I think I'm gonna just donate it. Again, it's taking up space. I wish I could give this more of my brain power, but if I really want to read more and study more about Virginia Woolf, I think I can find this again. Next up, we have Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which I am gonna keep. It's a very cute little short story. Highly recommend. I read it in one sitting in a cafe. It's just amazing. Now I have 3 poetry books by Lang Leave. I think that's how you pronounce that name. Don't take my word for it. But I've had these forever. I'm feeling like it's time to release them to the wild. I'm not gonna reread them, and they're, again, just taking up space in my library. At one point in my life, I wanted to collect all of these, but with my current living situation, it's just not in the cards for me, and that's okay. I will be donating these 3 poetry books. Then I have these 3 poetry books, which are much smaller, that my mom gave to me. These are from the 80s. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure a friend of hers gave these to her when she was in high school, and then she passed them down to me. So these are not going anywhere. My camera battery's gonna die. Excuse me if the lighting and the angle changes. It looks like a storm cloud is coming in, so that's really great. That means we're probably gonna hear some rain. I just had a little anxiety-inducing moment where I looked at the rest of the books we still have to go through. So I'm gonna rapid fire. We are going to rapid fire through these next ones. Wicked, which was recommended to me by somebody who cut my hair when I was in Utah. They said I needed to read this and check it out. I found a copy of it. But then I also got Mirror Mirror by the same author and Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister by the same author. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of these. Do I know when I'm gonna read them? No, but I'm thinking fall time because, again, Wicked. So I'm gonna keep these ones. The next 2 are indigenous books. One of them is a poetry anthology and the other is like a history, an indigenous people's history of the United States. So I'm gonna keep both of these. I'm doing more of like a study on these books, so they're not going anywhere. That's it for that stack. Now I gotta go get one of the other 8 stacks that we still think. I'm being brutal. I'm being brutal. I'm being brutal. I'm being brutal. Let me preface this section by saying that I love Asian representation in literature. I am Filipino. Any chance that I can get my hands on Asian rep, Pacific Islander rep, I got my little hands on it. Starting off my Asian rep section with Falling Leaves, the memoir of an unwanted Chinese daughter. I have not looked into this. I read another memoir about a Korean family and I adored that book. It wrecked me. It was called Still Life with Rice, which I highly recommend you look that up. Add it to your Goodreads. I feel like everybody should honestly read that book. So this I found at a little library along with the next book we're going to talk about, and I just grabbed them because I want to know more. I want to understand. And I think the best way to do that is to read memoirs about cultures that you do not have a first-hand experience with. That's why I got this book. I'm gonna have a really hard time getting rid of any of my Asian rep books that I haven't read, to be honest. I had a hard time getting rid of the one that I did read. Okay, this is a true story. Much of it is painful and difficult to write, but I felt compelled to do so. Okay, this one I'm keeping. Again, these are really short. I think it's worth it to dedicate the time to read these books. Keeping this one. The next one that is along the same lines is called And Then, which is one of Japanese most beloved and respected authors is this gentleman. The protagonist is a man in his 20s who is struggling with his personal purpose and identity as well as the life-changing social landscape as Japan enters the 20th century. Ancient customs give way to Western ideals, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm interested in this because I did read a story about a Japanese man in The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, and I was very intrigued by that. I'm gonna keep this. Oh! On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous. I can't get rid of any of these. This is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family history that began before he was born, a history whose epicenter is rooted in Vietnam. Not getting rid of any of them. End of discussion. This one, Snow Falling on Cedars, I think was turned into a movie or a series. I've just heard the name before. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one because it just seems a little, I don't know. I don't know, something about it is just not, it's just not vibing with me. I have no reasoning, I'm gonna donate that one. Next up, I have Interior Chinatown, and I have tried to read this one a couple different times, and I don't know if it's the format necessarily, because it's kind of written like screenplay in certain elements. I'm just not able to get into it. I really wanted to finish this. I'm on page 34. I can't get into it, so I'm gonna go ahead and donate it. Hopefully somebody will pick it up and love it. The next 3 books are ones that I am most likely keeping because it's a series, and that is Crazy Rich Asians. I love the movie. It is my emotional support movie when I am on the airplane. I want to read the book. I've heard good things about it. I have the second and I have the third. Is that how this goes? How does this one only have the number and these two don't? That's actually really irritating. Look at that. Why would you do that? Anyway, keeping, and that's it. So we're donating these 2 from that pile. Let me go at them and get a new pile. Starting it off strong with Venture Below by Taylor-Ann-Wright. I don't even know why I have this book. Survivor Let the Truth Die. What is that? Wait, this actually, wait, this actually kind of sounds like interesting. That girl looks like really familiar. Oh, it's me. This is my book. Sorry, that was like really cringy. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, this is my young adult fantasy novel. If you want to check it out, it's on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited, and you can get the paperback on Amazon. So have fun with that. Obviously, I'm keeping that. Next up, we have Stephen King on writing. I did read this. I annotated this book. I'm going to be doing a whole video involving this book, so I can't get rid of it. James Patterson, 22 seconds. I'm donating this. Somebody said this was part of a series, and it was like one of the later books in the series. I will pick up a different James Patterson book. I've never read one of his books, that's why I got this. If you have read his books before and you love him, or you just like him, let me know where I should start, because I do want to try to read one of his books. Clearly, he's a prolific author. He has dozens of novels out there in the world. Oh, the TikTok girlies are gonna come for me. I'm gonna not donate it. Did I get you? Probably not. I literally read 6 pages of this in Walmart when I decided to buy it, and I still want to read it, so I'm not gonna get rid of it. Oh, I hear the rain. Next up, we have Kismet. Kismet? This sounded interesting to me. I grabbed it from a free little library. Basically, it is about this woman who lives in kind of a Black Mirror-esque universe. Basically, everybody in this world finds their soulmate by a compatibility app. She, I think, tries to like break the mold from that and like leave the person she was with. I tried to read this, thought I would be interested in it, and I'm just not, so I'm gonna donate this one. Kayla actually gave me this book. She has 2 copies of it, so she gave me this one. And I just opened up the cover and there's like a whole paragraph thing written in here. I think this is printed on. That I think is just a part of the book. I thought like somebody wrote like a cute little thing or whatever to somebody. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read just a little bit of it to see if I'm interested. Yes. Keep. Oh, guys. I can't keep doing this. How many more times can I say I'm gonna read Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves and not do it? Now it's like torrentially downpouring. That looks horrifying. I have to keep them, right? Like, I haven't read them. They're just, I feel like a staple. Is it worth it? Like, just can somebody be honest with me? I'm gonna keep these. And I'm also gonna pause filming this video until that stops. Look at my Jeep. Oh my God. Okay, the storm has paused. I don't know if it passed necessarily, and the sun is now like bright and shining as ever. While we were in that little brief intermission for me, I counted all of the physical books that I had up in my library, which was 115. We need to bring that number down. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the Asian rep section with Pachinko, which is not going anywhere. I have been saying this for like a year now that I want to read this book. I found it at a little library in Colorado. Let me just read, I guess, the first paragraph, because what if I don't like it? You know what? Yeah, I'm thinking I'll keep it. There's no such thing as an easy job, which I do think I'm gonna donate this one. Looking at a bookmark. I think I'm gonna donate it. I tried reading it and it just was not, it was not for me. Then I got these two beautiful babies, which I won in a giveaway. So they are signed copies. Judy was so sweet and wrote me like a little note and was like, I hope you enjoy them. So these I'm definitely gonna read. I know she's coming out with another book. I don't think it's a part of this series. It might be, don't take my word for that. The covers? Who are you kidding? They are one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my entire life. Obsessed. Keep. Did I even try to read this? They sounded interesting, I remember that. Okay, let's see. Obsessed. I used to look at my hands with pride. Now all I can think is, these are the hands that buried my mother. Pardon? Sold. I must know. Man, the video just got so bright because the sun, it just came out of nowhere. That concludes our Asian rep section. We meet again. The Picture of Dorian Gray. I have still yet to read this book and I'm on chapter 2. I'm gonna keep it. I need to read it. I mentioned this when I was trying to talk about my bookshelf, but this is the first book in the Crave series. I'm not getting rid of it. It's a special edition. If you want to understand more about this and how it came to be, just go ahead and watch my other bookshelf video. I think is where I talk about this. I don't know. I'm not gonna get rid of it. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I still want to read it. I'm pretty sure after I read it, I'm gonna donate it, but I want to read this one. Then I have Loathe to Love You, which is a collection of little novellas by Ali Hazelwood. I want to read these. Haven't yet. Going to keep. Lessons in Chemistry, this behemoth of a book. I found it at a little library and I about near had a panic attack because I was so excited. Do I know if I even like this book? No. I'm gonna go ahead and just take a little gander. Okay, I'm into it. Other than the fact that this whole thing is one sentence, I am interested. So I guess we will keep it for one more round. And if I haven't read it by like fall time, I'll get rid of it. You heard me say it here first, folks. We're back again with Stephen King. This is a collection of short stories. It's called Everything's Eventual. Yeah, the back is a little horrifying. I'm gonna read this while I do that Stephen King video I was talking about. Can't get rid of her. Oh boy, my arch nemesis. Sharp Objects. I'm donating it. I don't even care anymore. I tried reading it and I couldn't stand the writing. Borderline hated it. I was like, it's so short, Taylor, you can suck it up. Why waste my time reading a book I don't like? Donate. This book I started reading in my 24-hour reading challenge that's going to be going up soon. I got to page 68 before I took a pause on it. I am intrigued enough to keep reading a little bit more, I think. If the love interest starts love interesting, then it will have gotten me. But right now we're just still in that, the backstory of our characters kind of stage, which is a little boring for me. In the very midst of a 24-hour reading challenge was not what I needed. I needed gripping. I needed something to suck me in. And I switched books to something that did that for me. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is another book that I should have read this month. It was hidden in my bookshelf because it was covered up by 1,000 other books, so I couldn't even see it. This is twins inseparable as children ultimately choose to live in two very different worlds, one black and one white. I'm 100% honest, don't know all that much about this book aside from it's one that I need to read and that it's so good, and it's just a perspective, just like with the Asian rep ones, that I don't have, that I can only experience from a black author. And so that is why I want to read this, because Britt Bennett, I've heard, is just an amazing writer. I'm gripped. I am gripped. Okay. Yes, I'm gonna actually try to pick this up this week. Hook, Line, and Sinker. I read the first, I want to say like 30 or so pages of this book, and I liked it. But I want to read It Happened One Summer first because that is like the first book that kind of happens in this world of characters. So I wanted to read that first and I'm still waiting to find that book. If I don't read it by this summer, Taylor, I thought we were being brutal. I'm getting rid of it. I've been saying I was gonna pick it up for almost 2 years now and I haven't. So it's gotta go. The Muse. I've tried picking this book up multiple times. It's historical fiction. I don't know if this is a mistake, but I can't. I found this at a little library August, I want to say, and it's just been chilling. No interest in reading this book. Like not an ounce of me wants to read this. It's gotta go. Oh boy. Anne of Green Gables. This is the first 3 volumes in 1. Never once in my life have I been like, I want to read Anne of Green Gables. Never once have I been like, oh, I'm interested in Anne with an E. Like, no part of me has ever wanted to read this. I don't even really like historical fiction, so I don't know why I have this. No, I'm not ever going to read this. I want that to be clear to you and me. I'm never gonna read this. Game of Thrones. This is like the floppiest, most delicious version of this book. I found it at a thrift store. I couldn't say no. It came with a free little bookmark. I had to get it. Will I read this? That is the question. I watched the TV show and I loved it up until like the last season. I would love to read it. I love fantasy novels like this, and I know that George R.R. Martin is well loved in the fantasy realm. I think I'll keep it. Let me just read a little bit to make sure. Yes. Yes, I'm keeping that. We still have so much to go through. I can't do this. Uprooted, I'm keeping. I just bought this book. If you want more of an explanation, look back at my other bookshelf video. It sounds incredible and I'm not getting rid of it. I want to read this one really, really soon. Song of Achilles. I have to keep it. I haven't read it yet and I want to so bad. I'm saving this one for like summertime. I don't know why. Maybe I'll read it towards the end of like spring when it's starting to warm up. I just picture myself reading this at the beach here, like on the coast in the ocean. Can you not see it? Yeah, I'm keeping. I'm keeping. The Cruel Prince I read like the first chapter and I want to read this one so bad. A Natural History of Dragons. It's a natural historian who studies dragons. I heard it's really good. Katie's reading liked it. And that's like basically the only reason I want to read it. At Home in Mitford. Let me read a little bit of the beginning to see if it's one I want to even read. No. I don't think this one's for me. I was for a second there in the mood for like no plot, just vibes. And now I'm in more of like gimme girth. That sounds weird, but I stand by it. I have not 1, but 2 copies of The Hobbit. One of them I've had forever and I'm still halfway through it. And the other has illustrations. Do I need 2 copies of a book that I haven't even finished? No, but do I want them? Yeah. Could I picture myself reading this? Not necessarily, but it's so cute. Oh my god. How do I pass that up? I'm not gonna get rid of either one of these. There's something actually wrong with me. The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. This, I know, has been recommended and people have said that I need to check it out and read it. Let me see if it's my vein, because just like you have preferences, I too have preferences. So let me see if this is up my alley. Right now, this doesn't necessarily seem like a book I personally feel like I would want to read anytime soon, but it takes place in Kentucky and my friend Kayla is from Kentucky. She does like books like this, so I think I'm going to lend it to her. She's a very fast reader. She knows my taste in books, and if she thinks it's something that I will read and enjoy, then I will read and enjoy it, and if she ends up loving it, then I will let her keep it. A Discovery of Witches. This book is so massive and the text is so small. Do I ever think I'm gonna read this? I don't think I'm gonna read this. Again, it's just like with Anne of Green Gables. It's not something that I previously was even interested in. The bane of my existence. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I can't get rid of it. I have to read this book. God, that sucks. I can't get rid of it. I can't get rid of it. Don't look at me like that. Oh good, we're gonna move on to something happy. Vincent van Gogh is like one of my favorite people in the entire universe. This is a book all about the incident about his ear, and a woman actually goes and tries to do an investigation. I found this at the Dollar Tree. It's incredible. I read 52 pages of this book, so I do want to pick this book up again at some point. It's one of those books that I am willing to let it take up space because it is just so beautiful, and I love Vincent van Gogh, so yeah, it's gonna stay. Then I also have a book of the letters of Vincent van Gogh, which is every letter he wrote. Oh my god, how did I not know that it has like scans of his letters and of his artwork that he attached with them? I'm gonna actually cry. I don't know what it is, why I feel like such a strong connection to Van Gogh, but I love him wholeheartedly. I literally have a poster of him on the side of my RV wall. I love him so much. I'm gonna move on before I start crying. Clearly I'm not getting rid of either of these. This is a collection of poems. I do want to read through this. I'm 29 pages in. I can dedicate some time to reading this. I do want to donate this one when I'm done with it. I want other people to appreciate this fantastic writing, and I think the best way to do that is to put it back out there in the world for somebody to discover. This I'm gonna keep until I read it. The Chronicles of freaking Narnia. I'm not gonna read this. You know how much real estate that takes in my library? It's cool. I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe when I was in school. I'm never gonna read this. It's gotta go. And alas, we have a book that I don't think I will ever get rid of, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It is a special edition that I was gifted. It has this incredible cover that I contemplate every day getting tattooed on me. It also has like a little handwritten note from the friend that gave this to me. So I'm not gonna get rid of it. I have read 26 pages of this book though. This kind of goes in line with the secret history of like, do I feel like I am anywhere close to being in the mood to read it? Not necessarily, but I can't get rid of it. That is the end of that pile. Out of that stack, we're getting rid of 10 books. Hey, we're getting somewhere. We're gonna move on to a section of books I don't think I will get rid of a single one from. But before we jump into that section, I have one last book. It's kind of in the vein of theme from the other books we just went through, and that is I'm not gonna get rid of this one. I actually plan on reading this one within the next couple of weeks, period. Moving on to that section of books I was talking about, which this is gonna come as no surprise if you have been watching my videos for any length of amount of time. My little book collection. I don't know what the epidemic is of me obsessing over these tiny books, but I love them so much. Here's one that I might get rid of. Mrs. Mallory Investigates. I got this book 100% because of the cover. I thought it looked interesting. Do I know anything about it? No. Did I even read to see if I would like the writing style? No. No. No, 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 no. Waylander by David Gemmell. I read this book, which I found out later is actually the third book in this series. It didn't read as such, so that was really nice. I have searched high and low for these books in thrift stores, in Barnes & Noble, anywhere I can think, and I cannot find his books. Somehow managed to find 2 out of the dozens of bookstores I've been to. Thankfully, this one is the first Chronicles of Dress the Legend. This is the 6th book in the series. This is the 3rd book, and this is the 2nd book. I just recently found this one at a thrift store. Okay, wait, what does this say? Legend is the 1st book, The King Beyond the Gate, then Quest for Lost Heroes, and Waylander. So Waylander is the 4th book. I think I've got it. I don't know why this says volume 3 of the Legend trilogy. All I know is I love his writing style and I love these characters, and that's enough for me. Guys, we've been over this so many times now. I don't even know what to say anymore, but these are all books by Anne McCaffrey. It's a dragon series. Have I read them? No. Are these all the books in order? No. I'll cross that bridge when I need to. Ender's Game. I started reading it. I was actually really interested in it. I read, I think, the first chapter. Not gonna get rid of it. We have 2 books that I just don't see myself reading. Me and Trevor love this TV show Psych, and I guess they wrote books based off of the episodes. I'm gonna donate them because I'm not gonna read them, and I got them because I thought my husband would think it was funny and maybe read them. No. The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne is gotta go. This sticker is on there. They printed this on. It says Walmart 2 for $1. This is a crime. This should be illegal. The cover is actually stunning without it, and that's partially why I got it, because I thought this was a sticker. We're moving on to another giant stack of books. Janet Ivanovich's Stephanie Plum series 1 through 9. If you're wondering where 5 is, that's the book that I'm currently reading, and I'm halfway through. I've read obviously 1 through 4. I like the series. I'm gonna keep reading it, so I'm not gonna get rid of them. Do recommend you look up the trigger warnings. This is written in the 90s, and it is very much so written in the 90s. Things that are not okay and were never okay, but were okay back then, are in here, so just something to know going into it. That's actually pretty good. We're getting rid of 4 books from that stack. We're on the last section of my bookshelf. If you are still here, I love you. Thank you for pushing through and taking the time out of your life to spend this moment with me. This is where the me being brutal really needs to step up a notch, because we're moving on to my classics section, and I need to have the mentality of, if I will not read it, it needs to go. With a few minor exceptions, like this stunning edition of the fairy tale world of Arthur Rackham, Once Upon a Time. It is illustrations, okay? It's fairy tale stories. Some of those stories are Alice in Wonderland, Three Tales from Shakespeare, A Christmas Carol, Fables, Peter Pan. I'm not gonna get rid of this. The 7% Solution. No. I went through a phase where I was really into older mysteries like Agatha Christie and so on. I think I outgrew it. Jane Eyre. This is a book I told myself I would read. I can't get myself to part with it. I've had it since I was in high school. Let me even see if it's something I would read. I'm not gonna read this. A lot of these classics are on Kindle Unlimited. I'm gonna get rid of it. Oh, that's crushing. Okay, Haruki Murakami, Kafka on the Shore. I bet you're wondering why this isn't with my Asian rep. I classify this as classic, and that's just how I do it. It also looks better, I think, with this section of books. I'm gonna keep it. I actually find that kind of interesting. John Steinbeck, Cannery Row. This is a book about Cannery Row in Monterey, California. I bought this while on Cannery Row. I went there on a trip with my family. I'm originally from the Bay Area, so I love Monterey. I got to page 30 in this book. It's cool because they're like little vignettes of people that live and own shops on Cannery Row. I found it really interesting. I do want to finish this book, honestly, soon. It's just chilling, and I think once I do finish it, I will donate it. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I have not read this book, and I've heard that she is just a phenomenal writer. Yes, the prose, that's really, really beautiful. Okay, yeah, I'm excited to read that. The Alchemist. Sure, I'll keep it. It's really small. I feel like I can do that. Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I have 2 other books by Virginia Woolf. Have I ever read Virginia Woolf? No. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. The text is huge and it's really short. I can read that. To the Lighthouse, Virginia Woolf. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this too. Also, the covers on these. Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I found this one in a thrift store. I do think I'm gonna donate this one because I want to find a version of it that is like these two, and that's really my only reasoning. This one's kind of falling apart and has like weird gross stuff like on the outside, and it's sticky and I can't. So I'm gonna donate this one and get a different version of Orlando because I do want to read that one. Then I have Emma, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, all by Jane Austen. I have read Pride and Prejudice. I liked it. I read it mainly on Kindle. It's one of those like, I read this and I want proof because it was actually a big deal for me to have read it. Do I love the cover? Not really. Do I like the peacock feathers? Not really. I'm gonna donate it. I just felt so much freedom in that moment. I'm gonna donate it. Emma, this behemoth of a novel. Oh my god, I don't think I'm gonna read this one either. Do I donate it? All of these are on Kindle Unlimited, so I can still read them. I'm gonna donate it. Oh my god, Taylor. Sense and Sensibility. I have not read this one. I don't really know what this one's about at all. Okay, what's this one about? My battery's gonna die. My other battery's charging. I still have 12 more books to go through. I'm gonna keep this one. This is Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie. I'm gonna donate both of these. 100 Years of Solitude, I'm gonna keep. Emily Dickinson Collection of Poetry, I'm gonna donate. The library book, I'm gonna donate. I'm never gonna read that. The Bell Jar, one of my favorite books of all time, keeping. She is a book I know nothing about, and literally it's called She. I read the first paragraph and I really loved it, so I'm gonna keep it. Try to read it. Road to El Dorado, I'm never gonna read, donating. Ernest Hemingway, A Movable Feast, I'm gonna donate. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, I'm gonna donate this one. The Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer, not getting rid of that, that's so beautiful. Wuthering Heights, I'm gonna get a different edition. This one is like falling apart and I don't really like it anymore, so I'm gonna donate it.
8 books I just decided to get rid of in 2.5 seconds. Why didn't I do that the whole time?
This stack right here are books being donated. That stack are books that need to go up into my bookshelf. Let's take a look at my bookshelf. She's kind of empty. I need to take down these pumpkin lights. I think I'm gonna add the other lights just later in life. Oh, I could just pull. Oh my god, that's so satisfying, you guys. I'm gonna just pop right on out. I took the lights down. I'm gonna clear this out, wipe it down, and then we're gonna figure out how I wanna put my books. I'm just kind of gonna mess with it a little bit and we'll see what we can come up with. Like this one, maybe? I don't know what I'm doing. Things are coming together very slowly but surely. I cannot figure out this lighting. I'm so sorry, forgive me. I'm separating things, like this is kind of like my middle point, and then everything this way so far is gonna be like fantasy, Asian rep, and I'm thinking nonfiction and poetry. And then this side is classics, regular fiction, or like romance, like stuff that doesn't categorize as those things. It's kind of making sense to me. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know my brain, and the best way for me to organize it is by genre. I kind of hate that it's just there. Maybe I could put like the next book on my TBR here. So like I really want to finish Love in the Time of Serial Killers, so maybe I put that there. I think that's kind of cool. So those are all my books, and I can see them all. You guys want a bookshelf tour? Of course I'll give you a bookshelf tour. We have more nonfiction, like that anthology I was talking about, the Indigenous Histories book, some poetry, and then that Stephen King book. I can literally grab them if I need to. All of my fantasy Anne McCaffrey books, some Asian rep, and I love this because this is all of my fantasy section, and it turns from fantasy with Asian rep to Asian rep, and the colors, I'm obsessed. Oh my god, my little room! Look, and it's on display. And then we fade into our classics section, and then into all of my hardcovers, and into just kind of general fiction. My Janet Ivanovich books are back here because I'm not necessarily gonna grab for them unless I'm reading the next book. Like I explained with you guys, this space will be for the book that is next on my TBR. And that is my bookshelf. I think out of all of the ways I have organized my books up there, this might be my favorite. Today we can celebrate. I'm very proud of what we did here today. I got rid of, I think it's 23 books. Maybe it's more than that. Let me go count. Hold on one second. I don't know where I got 23 from because I got rid of 37 books. What a crazy video. I hope that this inspired you to purge through your books and just get rid of those ones that don't bring you joy anymore. If you saw anything in my donate pile that you think I should reconsider, let me know down below. Comment down below a cloud emoji, because obviously the clouds have been featured in this video today, and I will give you a joke. I'm not saying it's gonna be funny, but it will be a joke if that is incentive enough to comment. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a like. If you like hanging out with me, make sure you subscribe. I know some of you guys aren't subscribed that watch my channel, and that's okay. But in order for us to be like friends, you have to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you get notified every single time that I post a new video. And that's about all I got for this week's video. Don't forget, I'm going to be dropping all 37 books off to little libraries. So I'm just putting that out there. That's all I got. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!